2025 MEAC Women's Basketball Tournament from a beautiful Norfolk, Virginia. Today, day 2 of the women's quarterfinal as the number 4 seed Coppin State Eagles battle the Eagles. One of those Eagles will be flying into the semifinal round in 24 hours.
So, you know, Sean, I really like birds, but unfortunately one of these birds' wings will be clipped and another one will be soaring until tomorrow's contest. But I think this is going to be a great game. They both kind of match up very well. They both shoot somewhere around 64, 61%. So I look for this to be a pretty good competitive contest.
And for our Wells Fargo player to watch for North Carolina Central, one of the top players in all of the MEAC, Kyla Bryant.
Kyla Bryant, just a sophomore, but she is going to be running the point. She is a player that can create for herself as well as create for others, and just a solid player, and has no problem with driving to the hole, but she can also shoot the three.
And for our Wells Fargo player to watch for Coppin State, another all-MEAC standout, Angel Jones.
Wow, Angel Jones, a little small, compact player, very savvy. Again, a player that can create as well as a player who can find her own shot. She can shoot the three, and she's got a nice little floater. So look forward to seeing Angel do some things out here today.
The first of 2 quarterfinal matchups today here in Norfolk on the women's side, awaiting the winners of the games today. Norfolk State, the number 1 seed, and Howard, the 2 seed on Friday afternoon. Coppin State won the season series as they swept North Carolina Central 69-66 on January 4th and 63-53 on February 15th. Day 2 of the MEAC Women's Tournament is underway with North Carolina Central in their maroon uniforms winning the opening toss. Diana Blake running the show right now, and Foster, as we got a travel call on Bryant. And the first turnover of the day belongs to North Carolina Central as we take a look at our Wells Fargo starting lineups for Coppin State. Worley, Hammond, Jones, McTeer, and Layla Lawrence, the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year in the MEAC. And she has it up top for Coppin State. Here's Hammond filling a double team. Shot clock is under 10. Beautiful drive inside by Angel Jones, our player to watch, and gives Coppin their first basket of the game.
Again, Angel Jones, that nice little finger roll, kiss off the glass for 2.
Got a foul on Coppin State. Here are the Wells Fargo North Carolina Central starting lineup. Hinton, Bryant, Foster, Morgan, Callahan. Second team on MEAC, and Diana Blake. Just underway here in this matchup on an Angel Jones layup has given the Eagles of Coppin State a 2-0 lead. A steal by Layla Lawrence, the Defensive Player of the Year in the MEAC. Hammond cut off on the baseline. Worley, a long 3. Offensive rebound to Jones. She puts it up, and the rebound goes to Callahan.
And both teams coming out very aggressive and not using the shot clock.
Hinton misfires on the 3, and they're going to get Layla Lawrence for the foul, her first.
Well, that's definitely not a good start for the Coppin State Eagles, with Layla picking up a foul here in this the start of this first quarter.
The one woman you don't want to see in foul trouble if you're Jermaine Woods, the head coach of Coppin State. Here's Callahan inside, and the rebound to Coppin. Worley brings it up as Coppin has a 2-0 lead. Hammond guarded by Bryant. They look to Lawrence in the post, guarded by Blake. Hammond back to Lawrence with 10 to shoot. And the long rebound to Blake.
Misfire by Layla Lawrence, a player who can definitely shoot the 3, but that time it was bricks.
Tried to show her range from distance. That was only her 66th attempt from distance this year. under 10 to shoot for Bryant and North Carolina Central. And they're going to get a reach-in foul on Tiffany Hammond, her first.
Going back to Layla Lawrence, definitely a player who does work in the paint, but does have some range. And if they're going to leave her wide open like that, you know, she's just going to have to put that ball up. But she is capable of knocking down some threes.
Jada Creech, the sophomore from Charlotte, in for the first time for Central, wearing number 1. Callahan got some space and an offensive rebound to Coleman, but she lost it. And here comes Jones with numbers, 3-on-2. The little floater is good as she has all 4 of Coppin's points. And a turnover in the backcourt. Here's Hammond shooting for 3. And the rebound to Tierney Coleman, who also checked in for Central. Three-pointer put up and missed by Hinton. And the rebound still loose and fought for and won by Central and right to Hinton inside.
Well, you got to give some credit to Morgan Callahan, playing aggressive down low, and she's definitely a solid rebounder.
She leads the team in rebounding, and she is 3rd best in the MEAC in rebounds per game. Creech got a hand on it, recovered by Lawrence. And Lawrence is fouled by Creech. Creech redshirted last year for head coach Terrence Baxter, who just picked up her first foul, and she's going to come out immediately to be replaced by Jada Tiggett. Coppin is going to go to their bench and bring in Nia Gadsden, the sophomore from Suffolk. Went to Kingsport High School here in the 757 area.
She should have some fans up here in the stands.
I would think so. She won a state championship at Kingsport her junior year. Had a coming out party in the tournament last year as they're going to get a travel on Hammond.
Well, Hammond called for that travel, but I like what I see out of her early. Sometimes she gets a little hesitant with taking the threes. Definitely one of the best three-point shooters for the Eagles, and she's coming out being aggressive.
Bryant steps back out for a 3. Lawrence the rebound. That's Lawrence's first rebound for a young lady that was the only player to average a double-double this year. A turnover by Coppin State results in a Kyla Bryant layup. Bryant's first 2, and we're knotted up at 4.
NC Central is coming out being aggressive on defense, full court press.
Offensive foul on Angel Jones as she tried to create inside. That's already 3 team fouls on Coppin here in the first quarter.
And these are 3 players that definitely need to stay on the court for Coppin State Eagles. You have 3 players with 1 foul, one personal foul.
Now it's actually 4. McTeer also picked up a foul, so it's already 4 team fouls, and we're not even halfway through the first quarter. Coppin State has turned it over 3 times in the last 90 seconds. A nice 2-woman game to Tiggett inside, but she lost it. Layla Lawrence is on the floor and is tied up, and the arrow will favor Coppin State.
Well, that time, you know, you don't need to put the ball always on the floor. She's right there in the paint. Just turn around, square up, and put the ball in the hole. And that time brought the ball down, and you got Layla Lawrence, you stated, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. She's right there to recover that.
You just think that's just a force of habit for players?
I think so, because a lot of players tend to do it.
Jones quickly brings it across. And out of bounds as Coppin State just turned it over for the 4th time here in this quarter.
But where they started off aggressive and playing strong, it's been a little sloppy play by Coppin State Eagles in these last few minutes.
Under 5.5 to play in this first quarter, tied at 4. Here's Tiggett. This might have been altered by Layla Lawrence. Callahan muscles it up and gets it to drop. Lawrence had to be careful to pick up a second foul, so she played off a little bit, but Callahan converts and gives the Central Eagles a 2-point lead. The extra passing goes to Gaston and drains the triple. Sixth best in the MEAC in made field goals this year has given Coppin State a 1-point lead.
Well, credit that ball movement, about 6 touches, find the open player, and she was able to knock it down.
Under 5 to go in the quarter. Coleman will hold it up. Looking back door, pretty play to Bryant, and she is fouled. And that brings us to a media timeout with 4:38 to go in the first quarter. Coppin State with a 1-point lead on North Carolina Central here at the 2025 Women MEAC Tournament. Nia Gaston giving Coppin State the lead. North Carolina Central's head coach Terrence Baxter in his second full season as the head man in charge with the Eagles out of Durham. 25-35 career record at North Carolina Central. Also coached at Catawba for a couple of years. Led them to 23 wins in 2020. Gaston again from that same corner where she made it before. Tried to get her an offensive rebound, but it rolled to Lawrence, and she's called for steps. 5 turnovers already in the first quarter, coach, for Coppin State. Central also has 5.
Well, both teams are coming out very, very aggressive. Again, I think these are 2 teams that kind of match up, and we're seeing that. And actually, that was Belinga that was called for that travel for Coppin State Eagles.
Wearing number 3, the senior from out of Riverdale, Georgia. Seeing her first action for Coppin State. Under 10 to shoot for NCCU as Coleman's 3 hit off the heel of the rim and recovered by Tyler Gray, who normally wears 5 and is wearing number 21 in this tournament.
Tyler Gray, as you just mentioned, her name has missed the last 10 games, and I was really surprised seeing her warm up.
A wild 3 by Coppin. They are 1 of 6 from distance so far in the quarter, and a turnover by North Carolina Central. Here is Gray on the move, going away from the basket. Lawrence, the offensive rebound, felt the double team and got it to drop. Check it, that's Belinga.
Yeah, right now, Lawrence is taking a seat on the bench, getting a breather.
I saw the 3. I thought the 1 was next to him, but it was Belinga. I stand corrected. The transfer from Coastal Carolina on the board for the first time. Tiggett's jumper was no good, and Belinga the rebound. Central hasn't scored in over 2+ minutes as they trail by 3. Here is Gray, the lefty. Belinga, an offensive rebound. Puts the ball on the floor. The layup rolls off the rim. Callahan, the rebound.
Again, both teams pushing the pace on offense.
Wide open corner 3 is good by Asia Hinton, the team's 4th leading scorer, and her 52nd made 3 of the season, as 4th best in the MEAC.
Asia Hinton, a 5'8" sophomore, and actually she's a homegirl from Durham, North Carolina. And here we go.
Up ahead is Coleman, drawing contact plus the foul. Lowry picks up the foul, but a chance at a 3-point play by Tierney Coleman.
You know, you got to recognize either you're going to let her go and score, but if not, you got to keep her from not being able to make the layup. And does a nice job with the little pump fake going up, and opportunity for a 3-point play. But again, this has been an up and down, a little different than what we saw yesterday, Sean. I thought this pace would be pretty fast. Both teams wanting to get out and run.
Got some pretty evenly good teams in day 2 of this year's MEAC tournament, with Maryland Eastern Shore and Morgan State following this one, as Coleman, the transfer from Oral Roberts, connects on a 3-point play. Played in 29 games with Oral Roberts over the last 2 years. And she'll take a seat after completing the 3-point play. The Eagles with a 12-9 lead of North Carolina Central, as Kyla Moore, a freshman from Chesapeake, is in for the first time wearing 0, and she was fouled in the backcourt by Callahan.
Yeah, that time Callahan not doing a nice job of like moving her feet, just went for the reach. But both teams again just being very aggressive, full court pressure. Both teams have displayed.
Coppin State coach Jermaine Woods barking out instructions for his team. Down by 3 as we're coming up on under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Here is Jones. Skip pass going around to Moore. 10 to shoot. Moore fields the double. Lawrence guarded by Creech. Lawrence with a great spin and rejected by Callahan. Ball is loose as Moore and Callahan are tied up. And the arrow favors North Carolina Central.
And again, I mentioned this yesterday, Sean. I thought this was going to be a very intense and exciting game, and I think that that's what they have delivered so far. But look at the spin move by Layla Lawrence, but a better defense by Callahan to come up with that block. And then that, who wins the 50-50 ball? Well, it was a jump ball.
It was a jump ball. We're going to say Central on that arrow. Do you like the alternating arrows?
I do. Because how can you determine who should get the ball?
Nice pull up by Bryant. Comes up a little long. Lawrence, another rebound for Coppin State. It's a 6-0 run so far for North Carolina Central in over 90 seconds. Nice crossover by Angel Jones. And Bryant grabbed the rebound and deflected out last by Bryant. And Coppin State regains possession.
Yeah, Sean, great hustle by Hammond to get in there on that offensive board. So the Eagles, well, Coppin State Eagles.
I'm so used to saying the nickname, but we can't really say that in this one. Pretty move inside by Moore, and she'll go to the line.
Moore, one of the true freshmen. Well, they have her listed as a freshman, but a transfer from UMass Loud is what I have for her.
She comes from an athletic family. Father played football at Liberty. Stepfather ran track at Hampton, just up the road. One of 8 children in the family.
I read that. Wow.
There's another player, and I think it's later in our second game. She's one of 17 children.
Well, I may have missed that one, so I can't wait to hear who that is.
That's what we call a tease in the business. Ticket inside to Callahan. She misses it. Ball loose underneath. Lawrence gets on the floor, and they get another jump ball, and Coppin State gets the alternating arrow this time.
Wow, a lot of bodies on the floor. Just talk about the intensity play out of both teams. When you look at both of these coaches, Baxter and Woods, they both coach the same. They're very animated. They're in it. You would think that they were running the plays out there, and they're actually on the court playing, but got to give some credit to what the coaches are done, and they got their players out here being aggressive.
Actually, that young lady is Ashante Lynch from Maryland Eastern Shore, one of 17 in the family. A look inside to Tiffany Hammond. And now Coppin State will reset back to Hammond out on the perimeter. Lawrence is calling for it, and she has it, and it's called for steps.
Yeah, right when she was ready to make her move, Kaylee Bryant came over to help and lost her little footing. So another turnover by Coppin State Eagles.
7 turnovers in the first quarter as we're coming up on 10 seconds here in the opening period. Central with a 2-point lead. Last touch by Coppin. Coppin State has not made a field goal in their last 4 attempts and in over 3+ minutes. 5.5 seconds to go for Coleman. Coleman with the step back, taken away by Moore. And that will end the first quarter as Kyla Moore has given Coppin State a spark on the defensive end in the later stages of the first quarter. And through one, Central coming back with a 2-point lead over Coppin State here at the MEAC Women's Tournament on ESPN+. Well, inside that huddle is the head coach of Coppin State, Jermaine Woods, in his 3rd season with Coppin. I was about to just say the Eagles, but it's Coppin State. So used to just saying the nickname, but it's the Coppin State Eagles. There he is. trying to get Coppin State to win a conference championship for the first time since 2008. Led them to the conference semifinals a season ago. That hadn't happened in 10 years. The 2015-16 season was the last time before a year ago they played in the conference semifinal. Lost to Norfolk State in the semis a year ago. Second quarter begins with Central ahead 12-10. Callahan sneaks inside and gets it to drop to give Central a 4-point lead.
So out of that timeout, Callahan going right to the paint, right to the hole, and able to come up with an easy layup.
Central forces a turnover. Bryant felt a double team. Ball is still loose, and Foster tried to save it, and when she did, she was fouled.
Yeah, that's going to be called on McTeer. I believe that's her second.
You're right, Coach.
And again, just both teams just coming out very, very aggressive. And Kyla Bryant doing a nice job. Tried a little spin move there, but went into the trap, but she didn't give up on the play, and resulted in the Eagles coming up, being called for another foul.
2 fouls on McTeer. She's out of the game right now. Here is Foster. Tried to go baseline, and Gaston played good defense to force that miss. Angel Jones got caught up. And another jump ball. The arrow will stay on Coppin State's side.
Well, if you can continue to do that and make sure Jones don't get into any type of offensive set, that's a recipe for winning this game today. Because that's your true ball handler out there on the court for Coppin State Eagles.
She's third in the conference in assists this season. Worley looking for Lawrence. Good play by Morris. And here come the Eagles, and Foster is called for steps.
Well, Shakira Foster, 5'8" freshman from Georgia, a very, very solid, solid player. I watched her play when they traveled to Morgan State University and did a nice job. And we got a lot of talented freshmen this year.
I said that was a great looking rookie class.
Absolutely.
All rookie team this year for the MEAC, led by the rookie of the year from Howard. Jones almost lost it out of bounds, and she's guarded by Foster. She was also on the rookie team this year. Under 10 to shoot for Coppin State. Jones loses it. Gaston has it. Shot clock's at 3. Worley for 3. And the rebound to Central. Recovered by Coleman. Foster stepped out of bounds.
That's 2 turnovers on Foster. So the freshman right now is taking a seat on the bench. Could possibly be nerves because she's definitely a player that gets a lot of minutes and generally in the starting lineup.
And she averages a little over 27 minutes a game this season. Started 24 of the previous 29 games for Central this season. 2 minutes gone by here in the second quarter, and just one basket made. That was from Callahan in the second quarter. Great pass inside to Lawrence. Tough layup to go in. Her first field goal of the afternoon.
Well, not a whole lot Callahan can do about that. Very disciplined, playing defense, going straight up. Oh, wow. Call for a moving screen.
That's 2 on the second team all-conference selection, Morgan Callahan.
And a story to be talked about Callahan.
Yes. Coming back from injury, thrust into a new leadership role, something she admitted she didn't like at first because she's not a vocal leader, but it seemed like she flourished in that role this season for head coach Terrence Baxter.
And yeah, you got to give some credit to Baxter because she does, and talks about him believing in her and her also becoming an offensive threat and not just about her defensive game. So great coach-athlete relationship.
And speaking of Callahan, she comes up with the steal. Up ahead is Morris. It counts, and the foul.
that's going to be 2 on Angel Jones. I mean, she let up, but still had some body contact, and that resulted in a foul. So Angel Jones picking up 2 fouls.
Callahan was talking about that love for the game was wavering a little bit during COVID, but playing strong. Second team all-conference performer, leading the break, and Victoria Morris, the freshman from Rock Hill, South Carolina, a chance to increase Central's lead as now Gaston comes out for Coppin and Tyler Gray is in. Victoria Morris, a 60% shooter this season, converts, and that's a 17-12 Central lead with almost 3 minutes gone by in this second quarter.
Yeah, Callahan, she gives credit for deciding wanted to continue her career of one of her teammates in Anaya Foster, as well as Coach Baxter.
Hammond guarded by Hinton. The double comes from Creech. Worley has it with under 5. Here is Jones, stripped away, but right to Lawrence. Layla Lawrence getting going for Coppin State. She has 4, and it's a 3-point Eagles lead. Beautiful pass inside to Creech from Kyla Bryant.
Well, Kyla Bryant doing a nice job keeping her dribble, driving to the hole, draw the defenders. That's going to always be an easy bucket for Creech.
The sophomore from Charlotte with her first 2 of the afternoon. Bryant thought she got a jump ball, but no whistle. Great defense by the Eagles with under 10 to shoot. Jones guarded by Morris. Jones with the floater. Ball is out of bounds to North Carolina Central. This defense by the Central Eagles in the first half, tenacious for Coach Baxter.
Well, right now, again, if you look at his coaching style, I had an opportunity to interview him last year. He is very confident, and you can see that he's bringing that out of all his players. This is definitely a different look since last year when he's taken over the program.
Probably got that from his playing days at Pfeiffer, 2-time all-conference performer, leading the Falcons to a couple of league titles as a player, and bringing that defensive mentality to North Carolina Central. A 3-ball knocked down by Tyranny Coleman, only her 11th made 3 this season.
And graduate student, able to come back and play her 5th year.
This is Central's largest lead of the first half, and Layla Lawrence is called for travel.
And that's going to be the 3rd call on Layla Lawrence. All 3 have been travel calls. I think she's just trying a little bit too hard and feeling a lot of pressure out there, because anyone who plays Coppin State Eagles, they know Layla Lawrence and Angel Jones, those are the top players, and they're putting the pressure on both players.
They combined for over 32 points a game this season. As Hinton's 3 was an air ball, Lawrence gobbled up her 4th rebound of the first half. Under 5 to go. As North Carolina Central, their largest lead of the game at 8. Hammond for 3 in the corner. Gets the bounce off the heel of the rim.
That was sweet.
You couldn't have called that in a game of horse if you tried. Hammond's first field goal of the game pulls Coppin State to within 5, and almost a turnover forced by Coppin State. And that brings us to a timeout on the floor. 4:28 to go. We got a good one here in Norfolk. Tiffany Hammond, a 3 from the corner. I call horse. And pulls Coppin to within 5. There is Jackson, the Coppin State Eagle, in the house here in Norfolk at the Scope, where legends are made for the 2025 Women's MEAC Tournament. Sean Robertson along with the coach, Ramona Riley-Bozer. Central close to a backcourt, boy, saving it was Hinton. And they reset the shot clock because they said Coppin had gained possession. Almost a travel, but there's a turnover.
Well, that's not how you want to come out of a timeout, Sean. You know, that timeout was to give an opportunity for both teams to maybe kind of catch their breath a little bit, but you don't want to come out and turn the ball over.
A combined 21 turnovers in the first half between the two programs. Coppin with 11. Hammond was trying to look for McTeer, who is back in with her 2 personal fouls. Jones with under 10 to shoot. Tried to create, could not. But the save to McTeer to Hammond plus the foul. Tiffany Hammond with 5 so far and a chance for 6 at the strike.
Well, give some credit to Danny McTeer coming up with that loose ball. Kicks the ball out. An opportunity to get an easy bucket. Hammond, who doesn't make her living down in the paint, but that time was able to get that little easy layup. Definitely see a different look out of her, playing, like I said, with a lot of confidence. And one of the older players here on the squad.
Yeah, she was one of a group that made the transfer from the strong junior college, Community College of Baltimore County, that won a national JUCO championship a couple of years ago, CCBC Essex. Offensive rebound to McTeer. Hammond left open for 3. And the rebound to Callahan.
Wow, wide open Hammond, but came up short on that 3.
Foster's 3 was partially blocked right to Lawrence. Lawrence was going to do that all on her own and draws a foul on Blake. That's her second. So Blake and Callahan with 2 each for Central. Jones and McTeer 2 each for Coppin State.
Well, Layla Lawrence definitely can handle the ball well enough to keep driving to the hole and was able to draw that foul.
Coming up on 3 minutes to go in this second quarter. There's Jones creating. Rebound to Hinton. As Central so far, -5 on the glass. Coppin State with a 18-13 advantage on the boards. Trying to go back door to Callahan. Hinton had it partially blocked. McTeer with the loose ball for Coppin State. And they're looking to tie with the 3 possibly with under 3 to go. McTeer was straight on 3. Lawrence the offensive rebound and blocked out of bounds by Blake. And last touch by Lawrence.
Well, Layla Lawrence can do a clinic coming out with some offensive rebounds as well as defensive rebounds, but unable to execute. Nice block on Diana Blake.
Central in a scoring drought of over 3 minutes, but still maintains a 3-point lead here. They came in having dropped 4 of their last 5 to win the regular season. As they maintain it with 14 to shoot. Victoria Morris back in. On their last game to end the regular season over South Carolina State, 68-63 last Thursday. Shot clock at 5. Bryant to Callahan with 1. Grazed the rim, but Hammond recovers it for Coppin State. Here is Gaston looking to run. Offensive foul on Nia Gaston.
Wow.
Charged right into Bryant, and Gaston picks up her first.
Well, Bryant, a nice job getting her feet set and just went straight up, and nice defense by Bryant.
Who's wearing that protective mask, recovering from a facial injury. Lawrence trying to cause a turnover. Bryant hands it with 10 to shoot. 90 seconds to go in the first half. Hinton draws contact, no shot. And if that's McTeer, that's her 3rd. No, it's going to be on Gaston now. That's her 2nd. So 3 Coppin State players in the first half with 2 fouls. Gaston joins McTeer and Jones in that category.
Well, you see both teams are getting out here being very, very aggressive, drawing double teams, looking to trap. And Tiffany Hammond, nice job getting through that screen.
That pass hit the back of the rim. Don't know if we're going to call that a shot or a turnover, but Lawrence brings it across. Coppin State with a chance to tie if they can hit a three. Here is Jones from the free throw line.
Jones
knocked out of bounds by Central.
Yeah, sorry, Sean. Jones struggling offensively. Those little floaters, that's usually money in the bank, and I think she's trying a little bit too hard. Need to just settle down, because that release that time was left her hand. You can tell that was definitely not going to go in. Shot was too hard.
Already 9 field goal attempts by Jones in this first half. Another floater. Offensive rebound, McTeer.
I'm not quite sure. No foul was called, but then called foul.
And now Tiffany Hammond becomes the 4th Coppin State player with 2 fouls in this half. And remember, Layla has a foul. And she's been playing pretty well with that 1 foul on her back. But 4 Coppin State Eagles with 2 fouls.
Well, Morgan Callahan, I really thought that was going to be called a foul, and but the referees missed that, and so good thing for Central Eagles, because that would have given her, I believe, 3. Callahan.
Yeah, she has 2, so and Blake has 2 for Central.
Yeah, she escaped that. Both teams look to be very winded, as they should. Both teams are coming out again, Sean, being very aggressive. A fast-paced game is what we've seen. Both teams playing similar to the same style. You know, whoever the ball handlers are, they're trying to get there and put some pressure on them, coming with a double team with some traps. And right now, Central doing a better job than Coppin State Eagles.
Central suited up 10 players today. They played 10 players so far. But there was one game where they only played 8 guys or 8 women, and finished the game with only 4 players and won the game. A double overtime thriller against Maryland Eastern Shore. Won it with only 4 players on the floor. Jones again still can't find the touch, and last touched by McTeer out of bounds.
And she's getting really upset and frustrated. Just right now, again, she just needs to settle down. She's got a nice little soft touch, but she is releasing that ball just a little bit too hard, and definitely need Jones to get going.
Under a half minute to play, Central with a 3-point lead, looking like they will hold it for their final opportunity on offense. With 10 to shoot, Kyla Bryant running it against Hammond, who has 2 fouls.
And what you don't want to do is foul.
Great play by Layla Lawrence. Hammond to Lawrence, and she'll score. Big time play by the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Last chance for the Eagles. Bryant from half court. And the first half comes to a close. A huge defensive steal by Layla Lawrence, as she has 6 points. Coppin ends the first half on a 7-0 run. But the Eagles of North Carolina Central lead 22-21 at the break here at the MEAC Women's Tournament in Norfolk.
It's time for the big announcement. So, as we prepare to present 2024-25 men and women MEAC basketball all-conference honors and awards.
It's halftime of Game 1 of the Women's MEAC tournament, with North Carolina Central leading Coppin State 22-21. More halftime activities from the Scope in Norfolk here on ESPN+. It is halftime here at the Norfolk Scope, with North Carolina Central leading Coppin State 22-21. At the break, it is the first of 4 quarterfinal matchups here on day 2 of the tournament. Sean Robertson along with the coach Ramona Raleigh-Boza. Great to be with you for the 2025 Women's MEAC tournament. Pretty interesting half. No lead larger than 8 for either squad. Back and forth, and turnovers were the story early on in the first half.
Yes, both teams came out very, very aggressive on defense as well as attacking the basket. And both teams' averages somewhere around 61, 64%. And I figured that this would be that type of affair that is going to be aggressive, and that's what we have seen. A little concerned about the foul situation, though, because Coppin State, I would have to say, is definitely in some type of foul trouble.
4 players with 2 fouls, 6 total between the 2 teams, as we take a look at our first half highlights of a back and forth first 20 minutes between Central and Coppin State.
Yes, back and forth, like I said, both teams being aggressive. We saw a lot of bodies in that first half on the floor trying to win that 50-50 ball, and it's just been a back and forth type of affair. You got to get some a little more play offensively from your star player for the Eagles, and for Coppin State Eagles, Angel Jones. But again, both teams coming out wanting to play come tomorrow.
You mentioned Angel Jones, 4 points so far in the first half. A young lady averaging just over 15 points a game. Balanced scoring for North Carolina Central, with Coleman leading the way with 6, and that friendly bounce by Tiffany Hammond, who got going late in the first half, but she scored 5 basically within a 2-minute span. But the big play to end the half, the Layla Lawrence steal and basket that broke a long scoring drought for them. As we take a look at the first half stats, both teams with 9 made field goals, but an 8 rebounding advantage for Coppin State. That's pretty much kept them in the ball game, only trailing by a point.
I definitely would agree, and that's definitely the stat that I was looking for. Again, Coppin State, leading the way with the rebounds, and give some credit to Layla Lawrence, who has definitely been that player who has been coming up big on offense and defense rebounds.
Can she get going in the second half? She has 6 points and 6 rebounds to lead Coppin State, but the Coppin State Eagles trailed by 1 at the break. Second half, right after this on ESPN+. MEAC tournament will be here for a couple of more years after signing an extension last year. I think they will be here through 2027 here at the Scope. There's North Carolina Central, their huddle with a 1-point lead to begin the third quarter. What should we expect, especially in those first 5 minutes of the third quarter, for both teams?
Well, if you're in the Coppin locker room, I'm sure Coach is talking to Angel Jones, getting her to calm down a little bit, recognizing that her shots are going up just too hard. And she's taking a lot of them. But that's what they expect her to do. So I look for her to settle down and put the ball in the hole. But I think for Central, Kayla Bryan's got to get going a little bit on offense.
Bryan had just 2 points on 1 of 3 shooting in the first half. She's on the floor with Foster, Blake, Callahan, and Hinton. Coppin has Worley, Hammond, McTeer, Jones, and Lawrence, the starting 5. Callahan inside, couldn't finish. And McTeer, who has 2 fouls, grabs her 4th rebound of the game. Jones was 2 of 11 from the field in the first 20 minutes. McTeer will spot up. Offensive rebound for Coppin State. That was Worley. And Angel Jones yanked it away from an Eagle, a Central Eagle, and a fresh 20 for Coppin. Lawrence with a pretty move from the baseline and gets it to go.
Yeah, to avoid that offensive foul, doing a nice job of just going around Callahan for the easy 2.
Venture to say she will be more aggressive, as they're going to get Callahan, I believe, with a hold, as Hammond forced that turnover. It's her 3rd.
And that time Callahan picked up her dribble, but the guard's got to come back and get the ball. And wasn't able to do that, and that resulted in her creating a foul. But she's definitely going off the court. Didn't quite see.
She was shaking up. It looked like she might have got hit in the face. And we're going to take a timeout on the floor with 8:58 to go. Coppin State, in the midst of a 9-0 run since the end of the first half, lead 23-22 here on ESPN+.
Can you hear the buzzing sound a little bit?
On the review.
Yeah.
Actually, we will stay right here as the officials will review that play to see if it could be upgraded to a flagrant. Because Callahan appeared to be hit in the face by Tiffany Hammond as she got the steal. Oh, yeah, it looked like her shoulder, Hammond's shoulder, collided with Callahan.
But Callahan's going to be called for the foul.
Play is a common foul.
Because it appears that Hammond definitely had the edge with the steal. And Callahan just being a little bit too aggressive.
So no upgrade to a flagrant one. It's a common foul on Callahan, which will be her third personal foul. As we look at the Coppin State huddle with head coach Jermaine Woods in his third season with Coppin State. We mentioned they have not won a conference championship since 2008, trying to return to the conference semifinal for the second year in a row. They made it last year, which was had ended a nearly 10-year streak. They hadn't gone to the semifinals since 2015-16. And Coach Woods trying to get the Coppin State Eagles back into the semifinal round, which they will face again Norfolk State should they win today.
Yeah, he believed in the last couple of years he had an opportunity to, win a championship. But it seems though every year there's always a couple of key players that are out with an injury. And a couple of players this year end up transferring. So I was, he was thinking this year was definitely going to be that year for him. But I think he still has enough to be able to have an opportunity to play on Saturday. But you got to get through these Central Eagles today.
Well, one of the players that transferred, she was the Sixth Woman of the Year a season ago. That's Faith Blackstone, who transferred to Stephen F. Austin, who won the regular season Southland Conference. And Blackstone was the team's leading scorer this past season as they will try to get to the NCAA tournament.
Angel Jones, she had talked about during the summer, she recognized that she was going to have to do a little more offensively, and that's when she started working on that little floater, knowing that she's definitely going to have to be that person that be able to score for Coppin State Eagles. But right now, struggling offensively.
2 of 11 in the first half was Angel Jones, the junior from out of Woodbridge by way of Siena. She's left open, but passed it up to Hammond, and she was blocked by Tiggett out of bounds. It'll stay with Coppin with 13 to shoot.
Nice closeout by Tiggett, going straight up and getting that block, and she's long.
Tiggett stands 6'2" with about a 6'7", 6'8" wingspan. Shot clock is dwindling down to under 10 for Lawrence and Coppin State. McTeer gets the shooter's roll inside. Her first field goal.
Well, nice ball movement, and Jones recognizing she got doubled up and found McTeer underneath.
This is an 11-0 run since the end of the second quarter for Coppin State, and Lawrence comes up with a block. Coppin on the run with a 3-point lead. Lawrence thought about the three, passed that up, goes inside to McTeer. Too far underneath the goal, and Foster has it for North Carolina Central, who now trail 25-22.
And when you're going to take that bounce to the floor, that's when you want to be able to take a step back, and instead She didn't move. She just put the ball on the floor and found herself underneath the bucket. Missed opportunity for an easy layup.
Hammond with great defense to force that deflection. As now Belinga returns to the lineup to replace McTeer. Hammond, a McDonald All-American and Gatorade Player of the Year nominee from Life Central Academy. Shot clock's at 10 for Hinton and Central. A straight-on three for Hinton is good. Her second from behind the arc. She now has 8 to lead Central, and we're tied at 25.
Well, Coppin State Eagles need to do a better job getting out there, getting a hand up in her face. She was wide open at time and knocking down the three.
Third tie of this game as Belinga was double teamed. Ball on the floor. And we've got a whistle. And they're going to get a foul. That's on Blake, and that's her third. So now Callahan and Blake, each with 3 for Central, and Blake will have to come out.
Yeah, again, Coppin State Eagles in some type of foul trouble. Layla Lawrence, only one, picked it up early in the first quarter. But since then, she's the one player who has been able to control herself defensively without getting called for fouls.
Hammond for 3, ring it up. This could be a big point in the game. No Hammond, no Callahan, and no Blake for North Carolina Central, each with 3 fouls. And Tierney Coleman said, what about me?
Left wide open, got her feet set. About to be a three-point contest, possibly.
She's at 9 to lead all scorers. And our 4th tie of the game, another steal. Here comes Coleman, galloping down the lane, and scores as she hits the floor.
Well, Hammond,
that was Bryant.
Hammond recognized that she can't foul, pick up a foul.
They're going to get Tiggett with the foul as she pulled Lawrence down to the floor.
But to go back to Bryant, doing a nice job with body control, Hammond moving out of the way so she doesn't be called for another foul, because I believe that would have been her 3rd or 4th. So does a nice job of Bryant, able to still put the ball up and score.
Yeah, Hammond would have picked up her 3rd on that one. Central with a 2-point lead as we're coming up on 6 minutes to go in the 3rd. Jada Creech wearing number 1, first time we've seen her in this half. Lawrence hounded by Tiggett. Draws contact and a whistle.
And that's exactly what I like to see a little more out of the Eagles, is to give Layla Lawrence the ball at the free throw line. Spread out the offense and just let her go to work. And because right now, points are needed, and Angel Jones, who's gone quiet since the first, I think she has 4 points, but quiet since first quarter. So someone else has got to pick it up here offensively, and so why not Layla Lawrence? I
was going to say, why not the all MEAC first team selection, 2-time MEAC Defensive Player of the Year. Averaged 16.8 points per game, 10.5 rebounds. Only player in the MEAC to average a double-double this season. Missed both free throws, and Tiggett races down the board. A steal by Coppin. Angel Jones on the run. Now Gray coming off of the Belinga screen. Lawrence the rebound. She can't get it to go. And now a tie-up forced by Tyler Gray. And the arrow will favor Coppin.
Layla Lawrence again, very aggressive, coming up with the offensive board. Wasn't able to get the putback. Gray, who just checked into the ball game, unsure that she was even going to play, but she is playing, wearing jersey 21.
Yeah, missed the last 10 games with an undisclosed injury. Hammond again from deep.
Well, that's a good sign for Coppin State Eagles, with Hammond knocking down back-to-back threes.
Her third from distance here in the game. It's a, check it, they're going to credit that a 2 right now to make it a 30-all game. Another turnover for Central. Here is Jones. Racing down the rebound is McTeer. Here is Jones for 3. Ring it up.
She needed to see that ball. She definitely needed to see that ball go through the hole, Angel Jones. And after she took that shot, she even said, like, finally, the ball has gone in the hole for her. But a nice little sweet jump shot by Jones.
They credit that a 2 for Angel Jones. Just her third made field goal of the game. But it gives Coppin the lead here at the MEAC Women's Tournament. Here's a good look at Jermaine Woods, the head coach of Coppin State. His team has the lead of 3 here in the quarterfinal of the MEAC Women's Tournament. The winner will face Norfolk State in the semis on tomorrow. A 6-0 run for Coppin over the last 30 seconds and yanked away by Hammond, who has 11 for Coppin State to lead all scorers.
Tiffany Hammond definitely has been a spark for the Eagles on offense and on defense.
McTeer back in. The pass to Belinga was knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Coppin State with 15 to shoot. You see we've had 6 lead changes and 4 ties in this game. No lead larger than 8 for either squad.
And so Gray, who also will sometime run the point, is staying in the game after this timeout.
Jones has to shoot it with 1, blocked by Callahan, who's coming back in with 3 fouls. She'll go in transition against McTeer. Ball on the floor and a tie-up, and the arrow favors Central. This has been a back-and-forth game. A lot of great plays defensively by both teams, and now the offense has started to heat up here in this third quarter.
Yeah, so when we saw Angel Jones for Coppin State Eagles being able to knock down that little short jumper, definitely like to see where that goes with her because she's missed multiple attempts.
Great play by Coppin to steal that inbounds. Offensive rebound to Layla Lawrence, no. And Callahan yanks it away for Central.
Well, Layla Lawrence had the offensive boards. Put back was short.
Callahan to the rim. Just her third made field goal of the game. She has 6 to pull the Eagles to within 1. Hammond is called for travel. 15 turnovers for Coppin State in the game. Central with 17.
Let's give some credit to the defense by both teams. Both are playing very aggressive, looking to trap, doubling up the star players, which has created some of those turnovers.
Central defensively allowed 80 points a game this year. That was last in the MEAC. They've only allowed 33 so far through 2.5 quarters. Hammonds with good hand. Creech and McTeer jousting inside for the jump ball, and the arrow will favor Coppin State.
Well, both teams want this bad, as you can tell. And that's why you got to have that arrow, Sean, for that reason right there, unless you just want to continue to keep battling out and see which one comes up with it.
You don't want to toss it up, see which one will gain control?
Oh, you want to go back to the old school days with the jump ball.
Toss it up. Jump it up. Bring it to center court each time.
That's right. That's way back in the day, Sean.
But you like the arrow.
I do like the arrow.
It's a quick decision. They just look over there to midcourt, so let's go ahead and give it to that person. Moore, the freshman, back in, and she just turned it over. But another turnover for the Eagles. Victoria Morris for Central turned it over. Lawrence is calling for it against Callahan.
You want to give it right back to Lawrence.
Hammond is fouled on her shot attempt. That's going to go against Bryant. As they said, she got hit on the elbow. Hammond with 2 more attempts at the line. She's got 11 so far in the game. Only player in double figures.
Tiffany Hammond, I think we said earlier, that X factor. So if you can get her going offensively, but she's also doing some really good things on defense, coming up with some steals, deflecting some passes. Has been very aggressive in attacking the basket, and also being able to knock down the threes when she's been wide open.
Made both free throws. 80% from the line this year for Hammond has given Coppin State a 3-point lead. Long 3 by Coleman, and she hit the floor, no whistle. Jones races down the rebound for Coppin with a 3-point lead. Near the 2-minute mark here in the third quarter. The winner plays Norfolk State in the conference semis tomorrow afternoon. Kalinga for a minute there was going to look to shoot the 3. Lawrence, the better option as she lays it in.
Nice job by Belinga recognizing that Layla Lawrence on the block. She's always money from that area.
Beautiful pass by Callahan to Creech. Creech with 4. And Central down by 3.
Well, both teams cannot find any type of separations. It's been a back-to-back affair.
Lawrence on that last possession recorded her 20th double-double of the season. That was 4th best in the nation. Hammond, ring it up. 15 for Hammond. That's her 3rd made 3 of the game.
That X factor.
She made 4 3-pointers in the 2 games against Central in the regular season combined. Another great play by Layla Lawrence. And Lawrence takes it all the way for the layup. Timeout, Coach Baxter. As Coppin beginning to pull away late in the third with an 8-point lead.
Well, Sean, partly due to Hammond, although Layla Lawrence gets the rebound, goes coast to coast and finishes with the layup, but it's been really Hammond who has allowed the Eagles, the Coppin State Eagles, to get a little separation from the Central Eagles.
She ended the second quarter with a steal and layup, and Lawrence in stereo does it again here in the third.
Well, we still got 49 seconds left in this third, but yes, I agree with what you're saying, that they are starting to heat up. And when you get an opportunity to have that X factor, a player such as Hammond, who, again, she's that player, she will shoot the 3, and sometimes she gets a little hesitant, but the start of this game, she has been playing with a whole lot of confidence. And where we see here, her feet are set, and she's playing it there. She doesn't even have to move to check to see if she's at the 3-point line. She knows that she's there, has been wide open, and has been able to knock it down.
Team's 3rd leading scorer coming into the tournament at just under 8 points a game, has 15 so far through nearly 3 quarters, and has picked up the slack in place of Angel Jones. She's the team's 2nd leading scorer, came in at over 15 a game. Jones only has 7 on 3 of 14 shooting. But as you mentioned, the X factor is coming through for Coppin here in the third.
And that was definitely one of the keys that I wrote down, is for the Eagles to control the boards and be able to knock down threes. Role player such as Tiffany Hammond, and she's getting it done.
Sound like you've done this once or twice before.
Just a little bit, a couple times.
Callahan face guarded by Lawrence with under a half minute to go. Here is Bryant. Swishes home the free throw jumper.
And Bryant, who's been really quiet offensively, and there again you can see that she is a player who definitely can score.
A steal by Morris as she lost it out of bounds.
Looking for Angel Jones, but you got to be comfortable and confident in yourself that you can bring the ball down. You are a point guard. And that time just threw it away, but Coppin State Eagles able to get the ball back. And look at Layla Lawrence work.
Fading away. And that'll end the third quarter. Man, showing off her ball handling skills on the perimeter. Lawrence got hot as she has a double-double, but it's Hammond, 15 points through 3 quarters to lead the way for Coppin as they're up 6 here at the MEAC Women's Tournament on ESPN+. Coppin State outscoring North Carolina Central 21-14 in the third quarter to take a 42-36 lead behind Hammond and Lawrence. They've combined for 28 of the 42 points for Coppin State as they lead by 6 to start the fourth quarter.
Well, it's been Tiffany Hammond and Layla Lawrence for Coppin State Eagles, and that is the reason for this little bit of a separation from North Carolina Central Eagles.
Morgan Callahan held to just 6 points through the first 3 quarters as that 3 by Coleman was short, and that foul will be against Coppin State.
Well, we missed that, and a lot of action underneath. Layla Lawrence coming down with another rebound. So that activity was definitely not where the ball was at.
They're going to give that foul to Lawrence, which will be her second.
Well, it was underneath the basket, but I didn't see that. It looked like a clean rebound.
She's the 5th Coppin State player with 2 fouls. Here's Hinton in the corner for 3. And Jones on a pogo stick grabbed the rebound. Central thought that ball went out of bounds. But Coppin State on offense with a 6-point lead. And Gray sneaks inside and scores her first 2.
Well, they probably don't even have Gray on the scouting report because she hasn't played since January. And Gray recognizing the lane is wide open, and she finished.
Yeah, her last game that she played was against Howard on January 13th before today. Coppin State with an 8-point lead matches the largest for either team. Tiggett inside, and the ball back tap to Layla Lawrence for the rebound. That will give her 11 boards here today. Hammond in rhythm. Doesn't get the bounce. And the rebound, no good by Jones. Ball on the floor. Here's Tiggett and Central. Victoria Morris, pass deflected to Tiggett. Back to Bryant for 3. Jones with the loose ball.
Well, Brian, that was an air ball that she delivered. She's definitely not in any type of offensive rhythm.
Coach Woods emphatically calls a timeout for Coppin State. It'll be a 30-second timeout, as it will also change to a media because that was Woods calling the timeout. And we'll take one of our own as Coppin State holds on to an 8-point lead here in the quarterfinals of the MEAC Women's Tournament on ESPN+. You failed to mention about Coach's keys to the game today before the matchup, and seemed like your keys have lived up to what you were thinking.
Well, I think so. Again, you know, Coppin State, if you want to win, you got to have an X factor. And today, that's been at Tiffany Hammond, who can knock down the threes, which we have seen so far in this game, and control the boards, which is what Coppin State do. And then for North Carolina Central, keep the ball out of Angel Jones' hands, and they've done a good job of that early on in the first 2 quarters. And, of course, take care of the ball because they average over 20-something turnovers, and they are at 20 turnovers right now. So definitely not a good sign for North Carolina Central.
Coach Woods uses a 30-second timeout to save possession. You go back to that key for Coppin State, controlling the boards. 38-21 advantage. How about 19-3 on the offensive glass for Coppin?
I mean, what can you say? You got Layla Lawrence, who is leading the way, is what she do, which is why she is back-to-back MEAC Defensive Player of the Year. But today, she's not only rebounding, Sean, she is coming up with some steals and then been able to take the ball coast to coast and score. So something that we don't normally see out of her, taking the ball coast to coast. But today, she understands that I need to be able to do both, get some rebounds and just go.
Her and Hammond were the two X factors for Coppin to outscore Central in the third, 21-14. They tried to do another lob pass to Lawrence. Great play by McTeer. But they're going to get the foul on McTeer as she tried to save possession and uses her third foul.
Yeah, just a little bitty push by McTeer.
A transfer from William and Mary. She missed 2 full seasons with a knee injury. You can see that heavy brace on her left knee. A steal by Gray and Coppin State as they have an 8-point lead as we're inside 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Well, being able to insert Gray into this offense, it definitely frees up Angel Jones a little bit here.
And McTeer, the all-CAA freshman back in the 21-22 season, knocks down her second field goal of the afternoon. Central needs some offense. Hinton leading the way with 8. Callahan misfires. She's just 3 of 9 from the field. As Coppin with a 10-point lead, under 7.5 to go.
And again, Gray being harassed by Asia Hinton.
A deflection and a pickoff by Foster. And Foster lays it in. Maybe that will give Central a spark.
As well as Foster, a little bit of confidence out there because she's actually been very quiet the start of this ball game.
Came in averaging 10.5 points per game. That was her first 2 of the afternoon. Another miss by Jones, and the rebound to Central. Here is Hinton for 3. McTeer the rebound. Plus 18 on the glass for Coppin State. And if they can hold on to this lead, that will be a point of emphasis definitely tomorrow against Norfolk State, controlling the boards. Here's McTeer, who was called for a travel.
Wide open. Got to recognize, you don't look to rush in that time. Little step and trying to rush that shot. A turnover.
McTeer played her high school ball at Hampton. She won a state title, the VHSL Class 4 state championship her junior year. She averaged a double-double that postseason, 19 and 14 rebounds. A native of Germany, was born in Germany.
And again, a little tie-up.
Jump ball again. That arrow will favor Coppin State.
The nice arrow. That arrow has really been working today. Whoever is controlling the arrow, they are getting a lot of exercising today.
Yes, they are. Got some bicep curls.
Yes.
Tricep extensions with that.
It's a little wrist action and a little finger.
A little forearm action too. Here is Moore getting blocked by Callahan. And recovered by Morris and Central, and it went off the leg of Bryant for Central's 23rd turnover of the afternoon.
Yeah, that time was a little low pass that Bryant had to try to handle, but you got to catch it first before you take that step, and lost a little focus and turnover.
Under 6 minutes to go in regulation. What can Central do to get back in this? Down 8, they got time, but what do they need to do?
I think they need to continue to do what they were doing first, which we're starting to see, continue to keep putting pressure on the ball, but someone's got to be able to score for Coppin State Eagles, and that right now is something that we don't see. Brian, very cold, but she needs to look for her shot right now. She's been creating for others, but right now I think Kayla Bryant needs to step up her game offensively and look for her shot.
Coppin with their 20th turnover on the afternoon. And we got a foul away from the ball.
That's going
to go against Worley. Her first.
That time, Morgan Callahan just doing a good job of posting up and really trying to get a better defensive positioning. Instead, that foul was called. Right now, the Central need to be able to score, and they do.
Victoria Morris with their 5th point and a turnover forced by Coleman. They're down 6, and Bryant forces another foul. This will go against Lowry.
Little touchy foul.
This is a big moment. 5:09 left. That's the 4th team foul on Coppin State. Their last foul to give. Central will shoot free throws the rest of the game.
Which we haven't seen a lot of free throws in this game.
A combined 11 free throws between the two teams. Bryant had a shot blocked by Balinga. And a turnover as Coleman has it. Cross-court pass to Morris. Hammered by Balinga, no whistle. Creech inside, gets the basket and the foul.
Well, that woke up the fans here in this arena. Creech doing a nice job getting the offensive board and the putback. And we just talked about not anyone really getting to the free throw line, and I think that's going to change here in this last 4 minutes and 53 seconds left in this ball game.
That's the 15th foul on Coppin, and bonus opportunities for Central the rest of the game. Creech didn't get the 3-point play. Central grabs the offensive rebound, and the jump ball favors Central.
And that arrow is still working.
Well, how about the X factor for Central? How about Jada Creech? 6 points so far for Central.
Which he only averages about 2.
3.2 a night. But the pretty play there by Creech to get the offensive rebound and the putback, and expression for Jada. Central on a 6-0 run over the last 2+ minutes. Tough inbound received by Callahan. A chance for Central to get to within 1 if they can hit a 3. Deflected by McTeer and stolen by Coppin. Big defensive play by McTeer. And Hammond left open for 3. Creech back-tapped it in the backcourt and raced down by Angel Jones, and a foul on Central. It'll be on Coleman, her first.
Well, that's a smart foul. Both teams it appears that both teams being very, very winning. They both are playing very hard, and which is what we've seen from the start of this game, and nothing has let up. 4 minutes and 21 seconds to see which bird will continue to soar to tomorrow.
As we are inside money time, Creech will leave. But there's 6 points and on 3 of 3 shooting from the field. Lawrence guarded by Blake. Now the double comes to Callahan. Jones has it with under 10 to shoot. Lawrence a straight on 3. Callahan with the rebound, and she was taken down by Angel Jones. Angel's third, and that will send Callahan to the line for 2.
And when we talked about not a lot of free throws that has occurred here in the start of this game, and so here in the last minute or so, shooting free throws, which is what I expect for the remainder of this game.
Callahan at the line, only a 51% shooter this season. However, she's second in the conference in attempts. That was her 173rd this year.
And she's that type of player because she plays so aggressive, not afraid to drive to the hole. And so she's going to get to the free throw line, but you got to be able to knock them down.
Doesn't get the bounce on the second free throw. A break for Coppin State. And a turnover by Coppin as the Eagles recover it. And Coach Bryant Baxter will use a timeout. See if he'll use a full or use his 30. He'll use a 30. 3:40 left in the game, and Central forcing another Coppin State turnover. 23 of those in the game by Coppin, yet they have a 4-point lead.
Well, you know, Gray, who hasn't played again since January, and that time, you know, had an opportunity to maybe just slow things up, put the ball in Angel Jones' hand, and when they double Angel Jones, then kick it back out to Gray. But that time she tried to do a little more than what she needed to do, and they doubled her. And so opportunity for Central to get that, get the turnover. And here's a chance for them to be able to score.
If you're Coach Baxter, who do you want to take the shot on this possession? This is a huge possession with 3:40 left.
Well, I think Bryant. Got to put the ball in Bryant's hand. She's been cold, but she's definitely that type of player who can score.
He's looking for a shot. And now Blake has it with under 10 to shoot. And McTeer bumps Callahan as Morgan will go back to the line. Danny just picked up her 4th, becoming the first player for either team to reach the danger zone with her 4th foul.
And she's going to come out of the ball game. But again, Morgan Callahan having an opportunity to chip away, put themselves where it's a one-possession game. So she's got to be able to knock down these free throws.
Kind of like a line drive free throw. Not a lot of arc, but it works for her. She's got 7. Make it 8. 2 big free throws by Callahan after missing the previous 2. And we got a 2-point game here in the quarterfinals of the MEAC Women's Tournament. Norfolk State awaits the winner.
So we're going to have Gray continue to run the point for Coppin Eagles.
Central on an 8-0 run. Angel Jones with 5 to shoot. Here is Gray from just inside the free throw line and drains it.
And that's how you make up for that turnover that she had. Gray coming alive for Coppin State Eagles.
Big basket there for Tyler Gray, her 4th point. Here's Callahan inside. Doesn't get the roll. And a foul on Asia Hinton. Only their 2nd with 2:36 to go.
So definitely a good foul. Have a few more fouls to go before they get into the bonus. But Layla Lawrence, again, coming up with the rebounds. He just knows where to be. She's a player who's talked about playing professionally when her career is over here at Coppin State.
A double by Bryant and Callahan. Coppin breaks it with Jones inside. Jones gets fouled. It was either Morris or Blake in the area. It'll be Morris, her first.
And Jones an opportunity to shoot 2 free throws. He was hoping that would have went in, but
Coach Woods was hoping that too.
and she misses her first free throw.
70% shooter this year. She led the entire MEAC in total minutes played this season, one that rarely comes off the floor. She's already played 35 minutes this afternoon.
And Layla Lawrence tends to play a lot of minutes also.
Yeah, she plays around 32 minutes.
2 key players that need to be on the court for Coppin State Eagles.
5-point Coppin State lead. Callahan against Lawrence. Blocked by Layla. Saved by Jones. And Coppin State with another big defensive stand.
Wow. Nice defensive play by Coppin State Eagles. Gray continue to run the point, which frees up Jones.
They'll milk some time. Remember, Central still has a foul to give as they have 3. Under 10 to shoot. McTeer for 3. Got it.
Wide open that time.
Only her 6th made 3 this season. It comes at a huge time in the game as they're up 8.
Well, Kayla Bryant again needs to look for her shot, and he should set some screens and free her up.
Bryant the miss, Gray the rebound. And a foul by Coleman with 1:17 left. Last foul to give for Central before Coppin has to shoot free throws, but a huge three-pointer by Danny McTeer. She was 5 of 15 from 3 in the regular season. Can't miss that wide open there.
I mean, wide open. She was in a position where she could have taken a few dribbles in and still would have been wide open, but nice bucket.
They looked to Lawrence, and she was hammered by Callahan, which will be her fourth.
Well, Layla Lawrence, an opportunity to stretch this lead just a little bit to give them a little more cushion. She can knock down these 2 free throws.
She missed her first 2 attempts in the first half. Now she's 0 of 3. It will be a 3-possession game for Coppin State and Coach Woods no matter what. As Lawrence makes 1 of 2 now with 13. She had a double-double in the season finale against Morgan State, 18 and 18 boards. Coleman again hits from the baseline. Almost a steal.
And it is a steal.
As Callahan tried to save it on the baseline. It'll go back to Coppin State.
Well, both teams coming out continue to stay with their full court press. Coppin State Eagles right now, you got to take care of the ball. 54.6 seconds away from extending their season.
A long outlet to Layla. That would be the person you want to foul. Gray now has it. Trying to fight out that double team. Hammond, she showed the look of a 3.
Well, they're working a little bit of clock right now.
This is great keep away by Coppin State. And a turnover as Angel Jones lost it out of bounds.
A little uncharacteristic of Angel Jones. But you want to go back, play some solid defense. You don't need the fouls. 34 seconds.
Here's Coleman for 3. Little bit short. Callahan had the rebound, and then she got tied up, and the arrow will favor Coppin State. And Coach Woods will use a timeout.
Well, there's still a lot of time for a lot of crazy things to happen right now, but if you are Coppin State Eagles right now, it's all about taking care of the basketball. When you get the ball, keep moving it around. Don't allow Central Eagles to be able to pressure the ball or double you up. And of course, if you're for, these Eagle things, it's messing me up, Sean.
Well, the next thing you got to worry about.
Right, Central Eagles, Brian has, and of course, if you're for, these Eagle things, it's messing me up, Sean.
Well, the next thing you got to worry about.
Right, Central Eagles, Brian hasn't taken a whole lot of shots, and right now they need some threes. So you got to set some screens and come off the screen and be able to knock down some threes.
Well, the biggest thing for North Carolina Central is you've got to foul quickly. You've got to extend this game as long as you can and see if Coppin State will either split free throws or miss 2 and keep you in the game.
And again, you talked about if you're going to foul someone, Layla Lawrence might be that person.
Jones is a solid free throw shooter.
Although we just saw her, miss her first free throw.
Jones will go to the line, and Central had to use the foul. Bryant just picked up her second. So we'll see what Coppin State can do at the line. This year they were 4th best in the MEAC in free throw shooting as a team at 67%. Jones with a big one there with 8 points. She also has 10 rebounds along with 5 assists and hits both to give her 9.
So Gray going out, so little offense for defense. So we have the freshman that checked back into the ball game.
Moore comes back in. Ryan let that roll all the way to the front court with the shot clock off. They got to work quickly. Henson for 3. Lawrence the board and is fouled.
And again, this is why we have that arrow, Sean, that has been working today because of those type of situations. You know, both teams fighting for the ball. So at some point, you got to break it up some kind of way and determine who's going to get in. And we can't go back to the old school way of the jump ball. That takes too long.
Coach is advocating that arrow. He said the arrow ain't going nowhere. And for Morgan Callahan, this appears to be her final game in a Central uniform. She just picked up her 5th foul, the grad student. But Coach Baxter at North Carolina Central will leave with 8 points and 8 rebounds. And that's always tough when you see a senior or a grad player playing in their last game for their team and has to leave the game in that fashion.
Yeah, coming up a little short. But Central came out like fire, being very aggressive offensively and defensively, and just not enough.
Lawrence with 2 made free throws.
And there's Bryant. Like to have seen her look for her shot a little earlier. Could be a little difference in this ball game had she done so.
Her 8th point of the afternoon, and Coach Woods will use a full timeout to advance it to their front court with 8.2 seconds to go and a 9-point lead. You mentioned we've seen some crazy things in college basketball. You got to get 3 possessions in less than 9 seconds and score.
Yeah, this would be really, really, really crazy, Sean, if that was to happen. And I don't think Layla Lawrence is definitely going to let that happen. I mean, put the ball in her hand and let her just hold on to it. That foul, great. Let her go to the free throw line, knock down a couple of free throws. She's come up big, but I think a lot of that started with what we saw in Tiffany Hammond, who able to knock down those threes to give a little bit of separation, but she also was playing big defensively, coming out with some steals or creating some turnovers. So Tiffany Hammond definitely is, I'm going to make her the player of the game.
No question about it.
Especially when Angel Jones.
When Angel struggled and Layla wasn't getting in the flow, Hammond in that 3rd quarter was big with a couple of threes. She got 16 today. Lawrence with 15 and 13. As Jones is trapped near midcourt. No foul as of yet. There's the foul with Central with 2.2 seconds to go.
And I'm not quite sure why he didn't, call that foul a little earlier. But I'm going back to Angel Jones. The scouting report clearly that Baxter had it, and the plan was to make sure Jones does not hurt us. And every time Jones has touched the ball, the defense has been like all over her, which caused problems with Layla Lawrence being able to get the ball, because that's who she's used to receiving it from, especially because Gray had been out. And Jones coming up short with missing her 2 free throws. So definitely not the game that we normally see out of Angel Jones, but it was enough with the additional players that were able to step up, and Coppin State continues.
Coppin State advances to the semifinals for the 2nd year in a row, and awaiting them, the #1 seed and defending 2-time conference tournament champs, Norfolk State. They will start off things on semifinal Friday at 12 noon here at the Scope. Could the #3 seed advance to the conference semifinals? Can the top 4 hold serve here in the MEAC women's tournament? We'll find out in about a half hour as Maryland Eastern Shore and Morgan State will wrap up our quarterfinal session on the women's side here at the Scope. For the coach, Ramona Riley-Bozer, I'm Sean Robertson. We say so long for now. We'll be back in about a half hour. From Maryland Eastern Shore and Morgan State, Coppin State wins it 57-48 here at the Scope.